A pilot flying over the ocean suddenly reports a strange object circling his plane. He describes its eerie green lights, its impossible movements. And then, his voice turns shaky. "It's not an aircraft," he says. Moments later, silence. His plane vanishes without a trace. Was this a tragic accident? A hoax? Or did something far more terrifying happen that night? By the end of this video, you'll hear the full story, including some disturbing details that might change the way you see this case forever. Frederick Valentich was a 20-year-old Australian pilot with a passion for aviation and a deep curiosity about the unknown. He had logged around 150 hours of flight experience. Not a veteran pilot, but not a complete novice either. Described as responsible and enthusiastic about flying, Valentich had aspirations of becoming a commercial pilot, despite struggling with a few failed exams along the way. On October 21, 1978, he took off from Melbourne's Moorabbin Airport, piloting a small single-engine Cessna 182L. His destination, King Island, a remote location in the Bass Strait, situated between mainland Australia and Tasmania. Valentich had told authorities he was heading there to pick up passengers. But here's the strange part. No one was actually waiting for him on the island, and he never filed a proper landing request. This detail has led to speculation about his real intentions that night. Was he simply confused? Or was there another reason for his journey? Some believe that Valentich's fascination with UFOs may have played a role. He was known to have an intense interest in extraterrestrial phenomena, even expressing fears about what could be lurking in the skies. In fact, just weeks before his disappearance, he had told friends that if he ever encountered a UFO while flying, he would try to engage with it. And then, on this fateful evening, something or someone seemed to engage with him first. As Valentich flew over the Bass Strait, everything seemed routine until he made a startling call to Melbourne Air Traffic Control at 7:06 p.m. His voice was calm, but carried a hint of unease. He reported that an unidentified aircraft was following him at about 4,500 feet. Controllers checked their radar, but they saw nothing. There were no other known aircraft in his vicinity, yet Valentich insisted that he was not alone in the sky. Over the next 6 minutes, his transmissions became increasingly alarming. He described the object as having bright green lights and moving at incredible speeds. It flew above him, then reappeared on his left, then his right, shifting positions in ways no conventional aircraft could. He said it was playing some kind of game with him, darting around unpredictably, as if toying with his small Cessna. Then his voice grew more unsettled. He reported that the object was metallic and had a shiny surface, reflecting the setting sun. It had an unusual shape, one he struggled to describe. His breathing became heavier as he told controllers that the craft was now orbiting above him. He tried to maneuver his plane, but the strange object seemed to mirror his every move. At 7:12 p.m., Valentich made his final transmission. His voice, now laced with fear, uttered a chilling sentence. "It's not an aircraft." A strange metallic scraping noise followed. Then, silence. Frederick Valentich and his plane had disappeared. The moment Valentich's transmission cut off, Melbourne Air Traffic Control attempted to re-establish contact, but there was no response. An immediate distress alert was issued, and within hours, a full-scale search operation was underway. The Australian Coast Guard, along with search and rescue teams, combed the Bass Strait by air and sea. Military aircraft scanned the waters, while patrol boats traced possible flight paths. For days, they searched for any sign of wreckage, an oil slick, floating debris, or even a clue as to where Valentich's plane may have gone down. But they found nothing. What made the case even stranger was that Valentich never activated his emergency beacon. If he had experienced engine trouble, he would have had time to attempt a controlled water landing, or at least send a final distress signal. But his disappearance was instant, with no sign of struggle or mechanical failure. The search continued for a week, but there was no trace of the aircraft or its pilot. Eventually, authorities called off the operation, listing the case as unresolved. Years later, a piece of metal was found washed ashore in the area. Some speculated it could be from Valentich's Cessna, but no definitive link was ever proven. To this day, no confirmed wreckage of his plane has ever been found. With no wreckage and no clear explanation, theories about Frederick Valentich's disappearance began to spread. Some were grounded in logic, while others hinted at something far more mysterious. One of the most popular theories is that Valentich was abducted by a UFO. Supporters of this idea point to his final transmissions, where he described an unknown craft moving in ways no known aircraft could. The eerie green lights, the metallic surface, and the strange maneuvering all match descriptions of UFO sightings reported by pilots worldwide. Some believe the final metallic scraping sound heard in the transmission was evidence of some kind of alien interference, possibly the moment Valentich and his plane were taken. While no concrete proof supports this, the lack of wreckage fuels speculation that he never crashed at all. A more conventional explanation is that Valentich became disoriented while flying over the Bass Strait. Pilots have been known to experience a phenomenon called spatial disorientation, where the lack of visible landmarks, shifting cloud cover, and the vast expanse of open water can confuse their sense of balance. If Valentich was already nervous, his mind could have misinterpreted reflections or distant lights as something otherworldly. Some experts suggest that the green lights he saw may have been an illusion, caused by the setting sun reflecting off his own aircraft. In this theory, he unknowingly entered a downward spiral, crashing into the ocean. But without any wreckage, this remains just an educated guess. Then there is the idea that Valentich staged his own disappearance. Some have questioned his true intentions that night, especially since there were no confirmed passengers waiting for him on King Island. Could he have planned to vanish? Perhaps he wanted to escape his life, or was involved in something unknown to his family and flight instructors. However, those who knew him strongly refute this theory, saying he had no reason to run away and was genuinely excited about his aviation career. Another theory suggests that Valentich may have been caught in a classified military operation. Some believe he may have unknowingly entered restricted airspace or witnessed something he was not meant to see. The Bass Strait has been the site of various military training exercises, and some claim his plane could have been intercepted, either intentionally or by accident. If this were the case, a cover-up could explain why no trace of his aircraft was ever found. With so many theories and so few answers, the disappearance of Frederick Valentich remains one of the strangest aviation mysteries of all time. In the days following Valentich's disappearance, reports began surfacing from witnesses who claimed they had seen something strange in the sky that night. More than a dozen people across different locations near the Bass Strait reported seeing unusual green lights moving erratically. Some even described a large, unidentified craft hovering in the area where Valentich's plane was last recorded. These accounts eerily aligned with what Valentich himself had reported just moments before he vanished. Years later, a piece of aircraft debris washed up on a remote shore. Some speculated it might be a part of Valentich's Cessna, but no official link was ever confirmed. Without a serial number or conclusive testing, the mystery remained unresolved. If it was his plane, how had it drifted so far? And if it wasn't, then what really happened to him? The case of Frederick Valentich continues to fuel debates in both aviation and UFO circles. Skeptics argue that his fate was the result of pilot error, while UFO enthusiasts believe his final words were a chilling confirmation of extraterrestrial contact. Even decades later, the unanswered questions keep this mystery alive. Did Valentich encounter something beyond our understanding? Or was his disappearance the result of something more explainable, yet just as tragic? Until definitive evidence emerges, the truth remains lost, just like Frederick Valentich himself. What do you think really happened to Frederick Valentich that night? Was it a tragic accident? A case of disorientation? Or did he truly encounter something not of this world? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't like this video, and definitely don't subscribe. You wouldn't want weekly doses of mind-blowing mysteries, creepy legends, and unexplained events, would you? Yeah, I didn't think so. And whatever you do, don't click on the video above, unless you want to uncover the secrets they don't want you to know.